For years, cravings ran my life. I'd wake up feeling the guilt and shame of yesterday's binge. And sometimes, before I even got out of bed, I was already negotiating with myself the pizza, fries, or ice cream I would have during the day. And it didn't even just be a treat, it would be days long binges. And after 3 years of doing that, I seriously considered flying to the US for a food rehab. That's how bad it got for me. It's been 6 years since then. Today, my cravings are minimal, and when they do appear, I know exactly what to do. So in this video, I'll explain the real reasons from my own experience why cravings hijack our mind and the practical steps that put an end to that cycle. So why do cravings happen? The first is restriction of calories. When we are eating too little or overly restricting, it sets our body into survival mode. Our mind ends up obsessing about food, hormones spike, and cravings end up becoming uncontrollable. The more I tried to be good, the harder the binges hit, and the pendulum would just swing the other way, and I would go on an all-out binge. The second is stress and emotional eating. Food becomes a comfort and a way to cope with breakups, stress in the world, or old trauma. Eating numbs those feelings, but only temporarily, and then it compounds to a long-term problem. For me, emotional triggers led intense cravings, which then led to benders. And I was told once that our solutions end up being worse than our problems. For me, that couldn't be more true because I would end up dealing with cravings with binges, lasting and feeling guilt all the way until the next day. The third is transitioning to a diet or lifestyle and the microbiome rebound. When we radically change our diet, our gut microbiome resists. My microbes adapted to the processed, salty, cooked, junk foods that I was having for so many years prior. That transition to moving towards raw living foods triggered intense cravings for pizza, fries, burgers, and other sweets. Because my gut biochemistry was still wired to crave the old foods I'd already been eating, it was hard to make that transition for my gut to the new foods that I was having now. Now, having understood these three causes, let's get into the solution and the 9 steps that have helped me break through my cravings. So step 1 is anchor your why. Start with the core question, why am I making this change? My why was to reduce inflammation and stop getting sick, to fix my chronic constipation and break away from my food addiction. Why this matters is a personal, strong why becomes the foundation for when those cravings hit. It's what has kept me steady and consistent in the face of temptation when cravings show up. And especially when I'm losing sight of that, it's my opportunity then to reclaim the whole reason why I did this in the first place. Step 2 is plan and organize your meals. Remove decision fatigue and plan your juices, smoothies, fruits, and salads so you never have to decide when the cravings hit. Seek guidance if needed, so mentorship or a coach that really helps to keep you on track with your results and goals. This is going to make a big difference. This helped me really keep on track with the day-to-day eating and living. Otherwise, it was too overwhelming for me and became a lot more complex. So I keep it real simple. I have a couple of go-to smoothies and juices. I make big salads at night, and I have some quick snacks throughout the day. And that helps me get prepared and structured on a daily basis so I'm not having to think about what I'm having next. Step 3 is not restricting calories. Don't starve and try and do this perfect just to get it right. Restricting calories increases, and certainly increased my thinking towards food and fueled my binges. My strategy was intentionally increase the clean calories during transitions and having those extra fruits, the nuts, the coconut yogurt, and track until you have a baseline. I ended up using Chronometer and MyFitnessPal. So this really helped me track and stay on top of my energy and cravings throughout the day. Step 4, dealing with stress and emotions. Cravings are often emotional signals, not just hunger. So have tools ready at your disposal. For me, that's prayer, meditation, breath work, or calling someone, to ask for help or guidance, and focusing at the task at hand. My daily spiritual routine and a tight support network really helped me break through these emotional barriers and patterns and face my fears instead of numbing it all with food. So small actions work, and doing it one step at a time. Deep breathing or a quick walk or a call to a friend can really interrupt the pattern and for that spiral to continue. Step 5, it's not about your first thought, it's about your second action that matters. This was really a revelation to me. The thought of food and cravings are going to come up. Expect them to. So when they do, you're prepared and you're going to take the second action to combat against that. An example of this was when cravings would appear for me, I would pause, I'd pray and surrender, and I would just take the next planned action. And whether that be, drinking a smoothie, going for a walk, or calling someone. Step 6 is variety in meals and flavors. Variety prevents boredom, and boredom fuels cravings. Being raw vegan doesn't mean eating the same 3 things forever. There are countless juices, green juice blends, different smoothie combinations, different recipes, so many different recipes like raw vegan pizza, pasta, lasagna, burgers, wraps, you name it. What I did is I learned these new recipes over time, and I started to add more variety into my meals, so it felt more creative and a lot less repetitive. So step 7 is hydration as a first response. Cravings often start when our body is actually calling for water due to how salty generally everything is being consumed today, and most of society being heavily dehydrated. I've repeatedly found a dry mouth and a few hours until my next meal will feel like a craving, whereas a glass of water usually can be the solution to this. So what do? I keep a water bottle within reach whilst working and during exercise. I sip regularly rather than waiting until I'm thirsty, or that's long periods anyway. I use water first as an experiment if the urges fade after 5-10 minutes. And then I understand if that was hydration or if it was just hunger. And if they persist, then I follow, whichever step that's going to be most relevant. Step 8, I build a safety net of satiating foods. A safety net is a set of foods you can rely on to calm intense cravings without breaking your progress. For me, that meant heavier, nutrient-dense options like nuts, seeds, bananas, dates, and avocados. So what I tend to do is I pre-plan a backstop, a snack before a social event or a stressful, moment that might arise. And I'll have some macadamia nuts in the car, before a family lunch, for an example. Keep portable options available in your bag or your handbag or something, if necessary, to prevent an intense craving reaction. Your safety net is going to look a bit different from mine because it's dependent upon your goals, your own body, what is aligned to your goals. So this is going to differ between you and me, but I just suggest pick 3 satiating foods that's going to help you get through that moment in time. And lastly, step 9 is to practice patience and acceptance. Our microbiome, habits, and emotional patterns will take time to adapt. Like me, I hadn't changed some of these for over 20 years before I decided to take that step. So expect setbacks and treat them as reality, not failure. What I like to do in these situations is pause, take a breath, and remind myself of my why. I also use small, consistent actions instead of dramatic restriction. When a binge urge happens, breathe, accept it, and plan on one small next step. So whether that be sipping water or eating a planned snack. So if you want to level up your health or finally beat cravings, and you're asking, where do I even start? Begin with a juice fast. It gave my body a clean slate and really fast-tracked the reset and the rebuilding component of my gut microbiome. So click down below. I made a free training which walks you through step by step how to do a juice fast successfully. The fast became the foundation for me to rebuild my health, and I strongly recommend it. All the best on your health journey, and I'll see you in the next one.